Welcome to another episode of Speaking Kurt with Kurt. Now, here's your host, Kurt.
Welcome back. Welcome. We're back in the studio again. We're back. I love this place. We're down at Sacred Stone. Why do I say that right? I love being down there. It's Sacred Stone Studios down here off Emancipation. And I'd like to welcome another guest into the studio with us. And I want to welcome everybody else who's in the studio who's not on camera, but we have other folks in there, and I'm loving it so far. I want to shout out to Sacred Stone Studios and the folks who run this place. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to record, to do your, record your videos, to do your, what is it called, podcast. You can rent the studio out, come on down, look for them online, book. This place fills up fast, so you might want to go ahead and get online and book. Support the folks down here. All right, we have a special guest in the studio today. And I just said I'm not going to say it, but I am nervous. I'm always nervous. We have a really good friend of mine, and she has a book called Destined to Greatness.
Destined for Greatness?
Destined for Greatness. See what I'm saying? I'm a little nervous here.
It's
you
okay.
know,
It's
Destined for Greatness. And you know what? We walked into a cigar lounge one day.
Right.
And we saw you sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like something already. We started talking.
I saw you guys when you walked in, and I just thought, wow, I hope they sit down and talk or chat for a little bit. I was in the spot by myself and just was hoping for some conversation. Mm-hmm. And even after you guys sat down, it was just, hey, how you doing? Hello. But I had the fancy little cigar case with me.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you had biometric and
you had
my fingerprint on it.
The biometric thumbprint, fingerprint.
Conversation.
You could hold about 90 cigars in there.
That
thing was like,
true.
I came in with my little thing. I think we had 2 cigars that day. We had to buy one. You know, she's like, I'm like, man, where you work with? Secret Service?
So you asked me, is that your cigar case? I was like, oh, yes, it is. So conversation went from there.
There you go. Yeah, it went from there. We connected, and ever since then, I felt like we had a really close connection.
I felt it too.
You know, we really appreciate you being around, and now here we are in the studio talking about your book.
Yes,
we got up on the screen there. That was amazing. No surprise.
Look at that.
Yeah. So just in case it didn't sit up all the time, I wanted to put up on there so we can make sure everybody can see it. All right, so. Let's get into this. So what prompted you to write a book?
Well, many years ago, I was journaling. I've journaled all my life, just about, and it's therapeutic for me. It's a way to express myself and get my feelings out there, and so they're not bottled up. And there was one particular time when I was just venting in my journal, just writing a lot about my feelings and emotions that were kind of locked up, and I wanted to be free from them, so I just kept writing them.
That's smart.
And my journal entries just became longer and longer, and I happened to share a portion of it with a good friend of mine, and she read and she said, "Hey, you got a book right here." And I said, "No, I don't think so. That's kind of personal." And no, I don't think anybody would want to read that. And she said, "Oh, no, somebody would want to read this, and somebody would get encouraged by this.
Yes.
Because somebody has probably gone through some of the stuff that you've gone through, or they're going through it." So I kept writing, and my entries turned into paragraphs, and paragraphs turned into pages, and then they turned into chapters. And so I finally got serious about turn it into a full-blown book. Probably, maybe, I guess 2017, 2018, I dove into it like full force.
Interesting.
every chance I had, every spare moment that I had, I'd get up early or I'd stay up late.
Mm-hmm.
I took weekends, and that's what I would do. And the more I wrote, the freer I became, and it was again, it was therapeutic for me. The things that I went through as a child and growing up, my teenage years, I wrote about it and I expressed it just openly and freely. And then I ended up with 300 plus pages
Wow.
by the time I was done.
Yes.
And while I was writing it, I got this revelation from God, and God told me, or I felt in my spirit that he was saying, the freedom that you got, Peaches, and the deliverance that you got from the things you went through, when somebody else reads your story, they're going to get that same freedom.
Yes.
And they're going to get that same deliverance.
Oh, yes.
And that propelled me, and that encouraged me to keep writing and to tell more and to go deeper and talk about the stuff that I had never shared with anybody. Things that I kept locked up for years. But I wanted to be free, and then I could envision others reading my book and they becoming free too. So that pushed me even more.
And as I was going to say, your book, I didn't read it, right? You don't want me reading it because, all these pages, you'd asked me about 5 years. What did you say in chapter 4? But I had somebody reading it to me. Mm-hmm. Everybody who knows me knows I probably don't read. I do IT. I do this,
it's okay.
But reading, I used to try to read a book a month back when I was able to read. Mm-hmm. But now, with these smartphones, I don't know how to read nor write. But I can talk. But I agree with you. When this was being read to me, it kept my attention. I'm like, this could help so many people. Mm-hmm. And we just started. We're like in chapter 4, and I'm like, man, we need to get you on a camera. You need to get this book. And I know towards the end we're going to tell you how to get copies of this and stuff like that. So, but this was so many people. I mean, they helped me just listen like, man, it made me think about so much stuff.
Right.
I'm like, we got to make this happen. We got to make this happen.
Because I talk about a lot of different things. There's, in my childhood, I went through some mental abuse, verbal abuse, and some physical abuse at the hands of my mother. And for a whole lot of years, for a long time, I held unforgiveness toward her and resentment and bitterness well into my adult years. And it took me a long time to surrender to God telling me, you need to forgive. You need to forgive. And it took a long time for me to stop saying, as bold as I could possibly say to God, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. And what happened was I had a daughter. I have two kids. My son is older, and then I had a daughter. And I wanted to have a better relationship with her than I had with my mother.
Right.
So God said, okay, again, you need to forgive. So I had to start working on trying to build that bridge, because here I am. This was in my mid-30s, and I did not want to hear nothing about forgiveness. And I just kept telling God, she knows what she did. Why do I have to be the one to make the first step?
Interesting.
Take the first step.
That's deep right there.
And God says, because I know that you know my word a little bit better than she does, so I'm going to hold you more accountable.
Interesting.
So what can I say to that?
That is interesting.
And over time, it didn't happen right away, but over time, I started trying to mend the fence and build a bridge and soften my heart when it came to her, my mother. And over time, we got our relationship straight. And at some point, she admitted that she made a lot of mistakes. And she said she was sorry, and she asked me to forgive her. And I turned right around and I said, I forgive you. And like that, it was done. That was the foundation of the rebuilding of our relationship.
Wow.
You know, but it took me surrendering.
Yes.
And letting go. And being okay with letting go. And I prayed the day that we had this this interchange, where, she asked for forgiveness. I simply prayed and said, God, I just want to be free from all this stuff.
Oof.
I just want to let go. And I want to walk in genuine forgiveness with her. And I want to love her the right way.
Wow.
Simple prayer. And a couple hours later, it happened.
Wow.
We were talking. I expressed myself. She said what she said. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And I felt the weight just leave. And like I said, over time, we started to build a more stronger relationship over the years, and it helped my relationship with my daughter. So I can honestly say my daughter today, she's my best friend.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you just said, that is the hardest part of starting new and making yourself better and other people around you better and just having a better life. And what she's, I'm going to look to Kim. And what she's talking about is like just skimming the surface.
Yes.
Like I said, we're in chapter 4. That is just skimming the surface. And it seems like she's telling you a whole lot that you have to get this. You have to get this book. I know it's up on the screen. You got to read it. I'm telling you, 4 chapters. We can't wait to get to. I can't wait to listen.
Listen
to somebody read it to me. But what we're going to do, here's what I want to do. What you said, can we have somebody here? Can you read that part on the back? And just
go along with the writer as she takes you on a journey from her adoption at birth to halfway through her high school years, weaving together years of unjust wrongs at the hands of trusted others, bitter betrayal and rejection from those meant to protect her. Celebrate how she overcomes disappointment and hopelessness in exchange for a freedom and deliverance that could only come by way of supernatural and divine encounters.
Wow. And that's just this part of the book right here. That's just that. And that tells you, dive into this, get this, dive into it. I'm putting that right there so it don't fall over and make that noise again. Like I said, I'm always nervous. So, wow. You mentioned you were adopted.
Yes. I was given up for adoption at birth by my biological mother. I was born in Los Angeles. And at the time, she felt that she couldn't provide the kind of life that she wanted to. So she chose to go with adoption. I chose to see that years later. I found out at the age of 12. I'm skipping around here. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So as an adult, I chose to see that as her making the ultimate sacrifice and choosing life when she chose adoption, because she did not choose abortion. She chose to give me life, even though she knew she was going to carry me full term and she was going to relinquish me and she was going to give me up to a life she did not know, to a family she did not know, but she still made the choice to go with adoption, which meant life.
That speaks volumes about somebody's heart.
Yes.
So true. That's amazing. And for you to see it that way, that is so mature. That's like that's a connection. Like so there's something about. I haven't said your name. I want to introduce you to what we call you,
Peaches.
But Peaches.
Yes, right? Everybody calls me Peaches.
You gotta get the book done. You gotta. Everybody calls her Peaches. I'm like,
yes, Peaches
Marie, really? Like, okay.
Really? Because that's what everybody calls me. Nobody calls me the government name.
Ooh, mercy. When you get this, though, when you see her, you call her by her. I'm just saying. Yeah, so that speaks volumes on.
I was giving up.
You being able to.
And my parents at the time my father was in the Navy. And At the time, they were stationed in Long Beach, California,
Mm-hmm.
and they decided to go with adoption. They were trying to conceive, and it didn't work out. So they decided to go with adoption. So that's how I came along.
Okay.
And my mother told me when at an early age, when we talked about adoption, she said that she took one look at me and she knew I was the one.
Oh, wow.
So she says that, or she used to say that she told me as early as 4 years old that I was adopted. I couldn't really remember that. I don't know if I blanked that out or if I pushed that into my subconscious. So the first that I remember hearing about it is when I was 12.
Interesting. Okay.
She and I were, she was doing my hair. She had just washed my hair, and she was combing my hair, braiding it. And then just out of the blue, she says, do you ever think about going back to California and finding your real mother?
Oh, wow.
And I said, wait, what? And she said it again. And I just froze. And I said, no, well, you're my real mother. And she said, no, I always told you that you were adopted. That shifted a lot of things for me. The relationship between her and I was already, rough. That shifted a lot of things for me because from there, I had a whole lot of questions all of a sudden. And she didn't have any answers because it was a closed adoption. So there was no answer to, well, who is she? Where is she? Why did she give me up? Why does she not want me? And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, why did the biological mother not want me? And I'm with this one who also acts like she doesn't want me.
Interesting.
It was just a lot at 12.
Right.
And then my questions just kind of went unanswered. And so I shut that down. I suppressed that, and I just kind of tucked it away. But I told myself, I don't care how long it takes, and I don't care what I have to do. One day I will find her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just went on. Years go by. I graduated high school. I went off to the military. I had a family. And I did write a letter to the adoption agency, but, like I said, it was a closed adoption. They couldn't really tell me a whole lot. But around about 1996, the internet came out.
Yes.
And
the wonderful internet.
Somebody introduced me to www.
www, me too.
And they said, put anything in the search engine, Peaches, and all these pages will pop up. I said, really?
Yes, indeed.
They said, yeah. I put in the word adoption. And right away, all these pages came out. I said, oh, my gosh, this changes the game right here.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
so,
does. You don't have to put www anymore.
Nope.
You don't have to put .com anymore. You
nope.
just type something in the search bar, and it will come up.
Yeah.
And your story is so much like a lot of other folks. Mm-hmm. That's why when people need to get this and read this and say, oh, wow, it's going to sound like they're talking about them also, themselves. Man, so much.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot of different facets to the story, and I know we have limited time, so I'll just take your lead with your questions.
Okay, so, I sent some questions out. I didn't want to blindside anybody.
It's okay.
So, and you approved the question. So, are you, the reason why I didn't introduce you, because we have a question. Are you open to talk about your names given at birth, adopted name, the name you use now, and how you came up with the nickname Peaches?
Well, the name that my biological mother gave me at birth was LaShawn Elaine. And, but my parents that adopted me, they changed that to Diana Marie.
Okay.
So.
Diana Marie.
So the story behind the nickname Peaches is when I was about 18 months, my father had me in the grocery store in the grocery cart, sitting in the cart, and we pulled up alongside some peaches in the fruit aisle, and I picked up a peach and I started eating it, and by the time we got to checkout, I was done, and I handed the seed to the checkout lady, and she says, "Oh, you look like a peach."
Oh, wow.
I've been called Peaches ever since.
Now we know.
Yes.
Now we know.
True
I'm
story.
looking around the studio. Now we know. Now we know why we call you Peaches. That's amazing. Again, can you tell us before we end?
Sure.
Because I always get down to the end and, I forget to ask questions. Can you tell everybody where they can get the book?
Absolutely. The book, Destined for Greatness, is on the website, Amazon.com.
Okay.
And I believe the price is $20. I also believe that it's in Kindle form as well.
Okay, great.
For those people who have Kindles. So I don't know what the price is for Kindle, but for paperback, it's $20. So feel free to make a trip over there to Amazon and put that in your cart. And please leave a review after you read it. I welcome all, thoughts and responses and, criticisms as well.
There you go. Criticism helps us.
It
helps
does.
us grow sometimes.
It's constructive.
Yes, there you go.
Helps us to grow.
This is Kurt. I'm going to tell you. Somebody's asked me to ask a question. And,
Sure.
I can't read lips that good anymore, so.
What's the question?
What's the question? What'd you say? Oh, there you go.
Target audience.
The target audience. Who's your target? Who would you want to?
Just about anybody could read that book and get something from it. If they're an age group,
Told you.
Let me put it to you like this.
Told you.
This is it's not PG.
Okay.
Okay. What is that? PG-13?
It's not PG-13.
No. It's no holds barred. There are some things that are very detailed, graphic. If you're a visual person like me, you can probably see it. It's not censored, so the language can be a little bit rough. So teenagers, you might want to, if the parents are letting the teenagers, you understand what I'm saying, But I would say anybody who's looking to be free from bondages and to be delivered, who wants freedom. The one of the main things that I wanted to mention, Curtis, is that the forgiveness that you give, that you extend, it's not for them. It's for you.
Why is she talking at me, looking at me, saying that? Looking right at me.
I got to the point where...
What are you trying to say?
I got to the point where...
What do you know about me? What are you trying to tell me?
I got to the point where I didn't even care anymore what had taken place or what had been done to me or not done to me. I wanted to be free. Right. I wanted to stop carrying around that garbage and that junk and those feelings of hatred and malice and bitterness and resentment. And I wanted to walk more in love with everybody. And I had to release that stuff and let that stuff go and allow God to cleanse me from the inside out. I had to exchange my yoke for his yoke.
Wow.
My burdens for his burdens, because his are much lighter. I wanted freedom so bad, it did not matter to me what I had to give up or who I had to forgive, or I just had to let. It's not for them, it's for you.
I can't even look at the camera. I knew I should have. It was my box of tissue. I knew I should have brought some tissues. No, seriously, because you're talking, and I'm really listening. She was reading a book. I was really. This isn't about me. I want us to come back because there's so much I want to say. There's so much I want to get into. How we met, how we're connected. This is about you and your book, but you're going to bring out so much on so many people. When I leave out of here, it feels like I need to go make some phone calls. Honestly, I feel like it's going to make you feel that way. And I know I like to joke and stuff like that, but I do my nervous laughs. I mean, I'm kind of serious, right? So it's amazing the calling and the forgiveness part of it. And there's a lot of us need to do a lot of forgiving.
Yeah, on a regular, on a regular, yes. It's a daily thing. We get up and choose to either walk in love or not. Forgive or not, extend grace or not. Because surely you can't ask for what you're not willing to give. So how could I expect her to ask me to forgive her if I wasn't willing to extend it?
Wow.
So.
Well, there's so many. I had a really long list of questions. I wanted to kind of
I'm sorry.
cut it down so you can
talk too much about.
No, I wanted you to keep
thing.
like to expand out, and I do want to say, we have like 4 minutes left.
Okay.
We can, keep on with the book. We can talk about we're shipmates.
Yes.
Your father did Navy, you was in Navy,
Yes.
I was in the Navy.
Go
another
Navy.
Connection.
Blue and gold.
And another connection is so amazing, when you're talking about the divine, how we connected.
Yes.
And then right away there was somebody with me, and she said, man, that's like that's like like a relative. She looks like a relative. And we started talking like, I need to copy your DNA,
Like we were long lost cousins.
Because then I called my sister, one of my sisters, and said, hey, I met somebody, and she looks like so-and-so. She reminds me so much of so-and-so, somebody in our family. You remind us so much like that person. And, and you said, no, I'm not related to you. You like, okay, well, anyway. I said, we still can be friends.
Yeah.
And now just somebody calling you cousin.
Yes.
Calling you cousin, and we're not going to let you go.
No. I'm
glad.
We're
not going to let you go.
I'm not going to let you go. I'm glad that we connected.
Yes, I'm so glad we
connected.
You
guys walked into that cigar lounge.
Yeah, because we walked in and said, well, I hope somebody's in here tonight. There you were. But your Secret Service.
007.
Your 007.
My 007 case.
This case, biometrics full of cigars, whatever little two that we had. All right, folks. So we're gonna wind this up. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Call you
I
Peaches
appreciate
Marie
this opportunity.
from now
Thank
on.
you so much.
You're Peaches Marie now.
Okay.
Not just Peaches. Peaches Marie, we want to thank you for stopping in. We want to thank all the studio guests that are here.
Yes.
With us in here today. It's amazing that we can do this, and we have loved ones around.
Yes.
This is amazing. We want to please everybody. When you get this YouTube, we went live on this. Share it out. Follow. Turn on that notification. Subscribe. Get the book. Go look for the book. We still got it up on the screen. If you rush down here quick enough, we have another book left. You can get an autograph copy. You can find us that fast. No, so get the book, and we want to thank you so much
for
coming out. This is really special.
It's been my pleasure.
I want to have you back.
Okay.
So we can talk more. So we can get, because this is what kind of book can you call this? This is going to help.
Self-help.
Yeah, for healing.
Healing.
Healing, and be able to move forward.
Emotional healing, spiritual healing.
Yes, all that.
I would love to come back and talk some more anytime. You say when.
That'd be great. And then as I get the book read to me some more, we'll get further into it.
Okay.
Hopefully tonight I get to hear some more. But thank you very much, everybody. My beeper's going off my phone. We're down to a minute. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for coming out. I can't say thank you enough. It's like I repeat myself, right?
It's okay.
Go ahead and shut it down. We can go ahead and roll the credits and roll the music so we can get up out of here.
Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Roll that music.